Hi everyone and welcome back. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And here we are covering HTML, CSS and JavaScript. It's like a web bootcamp. And we have already covered the basics of HTML and we have covered the DOM APIs, web APIs, BOM APIs. Whatever you generally see attached to HTML, like okay, what is local storage, cookie storage, and how we can play audio video using HTML, different tags, attributes. And then most importantly, we talked about the DOM APIs, which tells us how you can access the HTML DOM, how you can change the style, how you can insert a new node, because everything in the client side is all about DOM manipulation. Even you, if you see the today's framework, React, Angular, or any modern framework, they all do the DOM manipulation. Okay, internally you are writing a framework code, but under the hood it's all about JavaScript, which is executing underneath. If you talk about jQuery, you might have heard about it. It's like a legacy framework now, but it was also on top of these DOM APIs where you are writing just a single line of a code. Either you write document.get element by id or document.query selector, or put a dollar and in the bracket class name. This is how we were doing a jQuery. So jQuery is just like a minimizing the syntax you are writing. So all these things we have already covered. We just talked about HTML, and then in big JavaScript ocean, from big JavaScript ocean, we just talked about some web APIs like timer APIs and DOM APIs, some APIs like all the document object and window object, like what are the global variables are available inside of Windows, like window.local storage, window.navigator, window.geolocation, and how you can access the HTML node using DOM APIs, which is available on the document object, document.get element by id, document.query selector, document.get element by class name, tag name. All those are DOM APIs. In the web APIs, we talked about geolocation, timer APIs, and how you play a video, audio files using HTML tags. All about the miscellaneous we talked about as a web API, and browser object model, BOM APIs. Now, what we are going to do from this big ocean, we are just going to still play with the DOM APIs to write a simple basic application. And we are going to write using vanilla JavaScript. Why? Because let's say in the today's world, if somebody says I know React, and if you just ask him to build a to-do application just using vanilla JavaScript, I am sure that he may or may not be able to do it. He can do it in the React because he knows the syntax of React, but when it comes to vanilla JavaScript, it's not necessary that he might be able to do it or may not be able to. It's like obviously there is always a concern, because people just jump directly to the framework without understanding the basic DOM APIs, how to play with HTML nodes and styling. Okay, so let's build these small tiny applications using DOM APIs and basic HTML CSS. Okay, I'm not talking much about CSS now, and also in JavaScript we are just talking about the basic syntax. If else, adding an event listener to the DOM node, getting the value, getting the text content, or setting the inner HTML or text content to a DOM node. Basic things we are talking. We are not doing a JavaScript. We haven't started JavaScript basic fundamentals yet, but we already know the basic programming. If you have done a basic programming of any language, if else loop, checking a switch conditions, or creating a variable, all these things are basic. So in this video, we are going to create a new Scrimba playlist, a new thing, and here we are going to start with something new. So what we are going to do, we are going to write a simple small applications which are dealing with the DOM, and here we are just going to make our concepts a little bit strong, how all these things are really. So we are going to build a simple user search. Okay, and here our basic agenda is to showcase how we are going to play with the DOM, right? Because everything is in the HTML. We just create a simple text field, and we are going to search against usernames which are already displayed on the UI. Okay, so this is like a very basic minimal application we are building. So it's like we are just first writing a simple HTML container, and then inside div we can just set ID, because through the ID, why we are putting ID, because using that we can access that DOM. You can do that using a class name also, tag name also, but there are multiple tags, but ID is unique. So what you can do is document.getElement by ID, and you will get the exact DOM node if the ID is unique. I mean, it will always give you the first element which is occurring in the DOM. But if you do document.getElement by tag names, class name, it is an array of nodes. It's like a node list. So you cannot just directly traverse. So here if I wanted to access a input text field, a button, a div, it's better to give ID. So you can just do document.getElement by ID. You get the DOM node. Now you can add an on-click listener, on mouse over, or on key up, on change, on input listener to those nodes. So what do we have here? We have input text field and simple ULLI. Okay, and I have already pre-filled some names, because what I want is I will type something in the text field, and based on text field I'm going to filter out these names which are available in the bottom list. So I don't have an array. I already have some pre-filled names displayed on the UI. When I type TAR, it should only show Tarun and anything which contains that string. Yeah, so there is input text field and some names. So we can also add some stylings either using ID container or using class name. So there is a search input. I mean a search text field, you can just put a padding and margin. So we can have this text field coming to the bottom. You can say width 100% and margin padding, background color, all those basic things we can add to this. Till now I haven't done any fancy styling. I'm just applying the basic styling. Okay, margin auto to centralize this input text field in the horizontal width, and there is a margin padding also added. So what I want is when I enter something in this text field, I should be able to filter that in the from the bottom list. So there is a search input, that's a text field, so you can apply some styles. So search input is actually an ID. So how you apply the style? Using hash search input. So you can just put a font size, and this is the results. So result is a node, this is the result, ID result. So we can just set, okay, margin padding we can set, list style a type. So sometimes you see whenever there is a list, there is either a dot or something. So we are saying is list style type none. Okay, so you can just say maximum width is 400 pixels. So it will take a horizontal width of 400 pixel and padding of 20 pixels. So now if I reload, they will be covering the whole width. Okay, now we need to start writing the JavaScript. So here is the concept, that whenever I type something in the Java in this input text field, I should be able to trigger an event. So here is our JavaScript code we will write. So what is the code we will write? HT search input. This is the text field where I'm going to write, right? So document.getElement by ID, this is the ID, and I can attach an event listener directly here, because this is giving me the DOM node. Either you can just create get another variable like const input node, and then input dot add event listener. There are many ways to attach a event listener, like click or key up. So whenever you type something, this key up will change, right? And this event trigger, this function will execute whenever you are doing key up. So similarly, on click, in the input text field, key up, on change, on input, these are the DOM events which are really required. You cannot do on click, on mouse over, on mouse down. Obviously in the input text field you want an action when somebody is typing, somebody is clicking after typing, somebody clicked outside, or something had changed, like input change. So how you access the value? Using event.target.value. This is how you will access the value which user has entered in the text field. I mean, this is the event object is really important. So whenever there is a DOM event like on click, on key up, on change, on input, all those events gives you this event object, and through this event object, event.target, target is this input text field, dot value means whatever you have entered in the text field, that will give you the value, and to lowercase, it will just make it to a lowercase English name, right? Like if there is any uppercase you have written, it will give us the value will be the lowercase. Now what we are doing is we are getting all the list element, because I need to get all these names I have added, Tarun Kumar, Sharma, TKS, Kumar, right? I need to get this list, right? So this is going to give me the HTML collection, document.element by class name. Now I can just run a loop onto this. So what I really want to do, think about the logic. So I am typing something in the text field. I just need to filter this on the key up event. So there is a existing list I already have. I only need to show those names which are matching with the characters I'm typing in the text field. So I can play with these nodes. So there is an array of names I have. I iterate them, and based on the condition, if the name is matching, we can just do a display block or display block or display none. So we can just play with the display property to show and hide these nodes, because we are not going to remove those. We are just going to play with the display property. So if let's say if name is matching, we will just say display block. If name is not matching with whatever user has entered, that means we need to hide it. So here we are going to first of all get the current name. So we can get this from the node name node. So this is the name nodes of I. Name nodes of I dot text content dot value. Name nodes of I dot text content dot value dot two lowercase. I mean, two lowercase is simple. So we will get these names here: Tarun Kumar, Sharma, TKS Kumar. Now I just need to check if current name includes is a string dot include, right? In JavaScript there is a method which checks is okay, this string includes another string or not. So it's like okay, checking Tarun contains TAR or not. So it will return true or false. If it includes true, that means we need to just keep the display property block. So here we can just play with the name node I dot style dot display equal to block, name node I dot style dot display equal to none, right? Simply we are just running a loop onto this name node HTML collection based on the condition. Here we will just do is name node of I dot style dot display. I think this is the way, style, because this is a node. We can just play style dot display properties. In the style, what is the property you want to toggle? Dot display property dot font size dot color dot background color, and here I will say block, display block. If the condition doesn't match, we just do a display none. That means we will just hide it, and it should start working right away. So if I just enter TAR, you can see if any of these characters matching, it will display it, otherwise it will hide it. So it's not removing the node, it is just setting the display property. So once you type something else, obviously it will just setting the display block or none to these nodes and keep showing and hiding them. TAR, T, then it will show two names. TAR, it will show only one name. So this is just a simple basic JavaScript, and here we are just playing with the CSS based on what user is typing. So when user is typing something, we are attaching this key up event and getting what is entered in the text field using doc event.target.value, converting into lowercase, so we can compare. Because let's say if your names are in uppercase and in the sneak case or lowercase, so keep one common case, lowercase, and we just compare. And here we got all the nodes by class name. There is a name added on the all li blocks. So you got all the array of HTML collection, iterate them, get the text content that will give you the names which are already there on the UI, and then you just start comparing. Okay, current name includes input text. I mean, TARUN contains or includes TAR. If yes, put the display property block, otherwise none. So it is just a simple. So here if you see, this is the event.target which I'm trying to console.log. If you do the value, then whatever you are typing will keeps coming. So this is event.target.value. So these are like really important concept, how to capture the input text from when you are typing. So we can just do a key up event and we can just get the values. Here we can also add a condition. Let's say if input text is empty, then you can just set a display property block for each and every node, but that's understood. So that's pretty much in this particular example. Let's explore more examples and try to learn DOM manipulations using HTML and JavaScript.